Good morning. My name is Tim Krick. I'm a pastor in the ELCA, but I now live out my calling with Lutheran World Relief. Unfortunately, I'm not the executive director. I am what's senior advisor for Congregational Engagement. So what that means is I work with congregations in the Northeast because I live in currently Dover, New Hampshire, much of the Midwest because I am from the Chicago suburbs, and all of Texas. And I do three things when I work with congregations like you all here at St. Thomas. First and foremost, I come to say thank you. You guys have been so extremely generous, especially to the work that we are. And when I say we, it's a collective we, right? It's not we, Lutheran World Relief, we are doing together in Turkey. And I was fortunate enough at the beginning of the summer to actually get to go to both Ukraine and Turkey to see the work that is going on, to see the impact your love and your faith and your generosity is having on people. And I hear simply, if you hear nothing else this morning, please hear thank you. Thank you for living out your faith through a partnership with Lutheran World Relief. Thank you. Then I want to tell you what that work is. So we're going to do that a little bit here now. And we're also, if you can join us in between services, I have some pictures and some videos, but please join us for that, right? So I say thank you, let me tell you, so we can keep doing the work together. Doesn't seem like it's slowing down at all in the world, is it? And we are people of faith. We are called not to escape the world, but to engage the world. In fact, that's what our baptism asks us to do, to engage the world. And so I hope our partnership continues as we continually engage the world together to fight poverty, injustice, and suffering wherever it might be occurring. I have three kids, 21, 19, and 17. So a senior in college, a sophomore in college, and a senior in high school. Which means this May, we have 2 graduations, right? We're going to have some parties. We're going to have people over. We're going to buy some gifts, cook out, have a cake, whatever it might be, right? And celebrate their accomplishments, right? My youngest one is graduating high school, right? All those 12 years that he has been there and done the work, and we get to celebrate. And hopefully, right, a year from now, he'll be learning or doing something else, right? These skills that he has been accumulating or learning about, he's now going to continually develop. But we're going to celebrate what he has done, and then hopefully he'll continue on. Same thing with my older son, right? He's graduating from college, and so he will hopefully have a job in an area in which he has been educated in, and he'll be a self-sufficient, self-sustaining, positive, contributing member of society. And we will celebrate these 4 years of work that he has put in, right? What he has done, we will name and celebrate it. It's a culmination for both of these two individuals. That is not what baptism is. Baptism is not a culmination of, look at everything you have been doing over these past 12 or 4 or 16 years. Look at what you have accomplished, and let's celebrate it. Look how great you are. Baptism is actually the opposite of it. This is 4 verses into Mark's gospel. We have no birth narrative. We have no real information about what Jesus, who he is, what he has done, anything like that. And yet, what are the first words that we hear about Jesus? This is my son, the beloved, with whom I am well pleased. Jesus has not done that miracle of whiting a cana, turning water into wine, right? That has not occurred. We have no record of Jesus doing anything when God says, this is my son, the beloved, with whom I am well pleased. That's baptism. When you have the waters of baptism poured over you, it is not because of anything you have done. You are passive in your baptism. God is active. God is proclaiming who you are. And you are loved. And you are gifted. And then, after baptism, we get to figure out what does it look like to live as loved people. Does that make sense? That's why we gather here, isn't it? How many people have life figured out? We don't, do we? Anybody struggle with life sometimes? Anybody struggle with, am I good enough? Am I whatever it might be? What does it look like to live in the world as it is today? Anybody struggle? I do. We gather to be reminded of our baptism like we just did back there. I love the Mad Libs, thank you. And then as a collective effort to go out and live our baptism. And we keep coming back to be reminded of who we are and what we're called to do. To see the world the way it is and how God dreams it can be. Because they are not the same, are they? Anybody really enjoyed turning on the news? Finish this phrase. Ignorance is... It is, isn't it? I wish I could be ignorant in the world today. It would be a lot. My anxiety would go way down, wouldn't it? But ignorance might be bliss, but remember this, it is not good. It is not good because it means things will just continue the way they are. And we've already said the way the world is not how God dreamed it should or can be. But through our baptism, we are called to live how it can be, or be part of God's restoration project, however that might be, here in your local community of Bloomington, or through your partnership with Lutheran World Relief to be part of that global community, because that's what you are doing. When we partner together and we do our work together, we are helping the world be a bit more how God dreamed, created it to be. Like I said, I had the privilege to go to Turkey this past summer, right? We were there end of May, beginning of June. Pure devastation. Every building I saw is going to have to come down. Even if it's standing, it wasn't built to code. That's why there was such destruction. And so people are not going back in their homes because they're afraid. It might have survived this earthquake, but what about the next one? And this isn't just a small area. Where the epicenter was, the town of Antakya, was 2 million people. So millions of people are homeless, literally living in tents on the streets. For a rebuild that is not going to be 6 months or a year, but it's going to be 5 or 6 years, right? And they're living in essentially army surplus tents that are designed to live for 6 months or so. So what do they do in the meantime? So one of those ways in which you are participating in God's restoration project is by helping develop and build a container home city. 400 homes, 2,000 people. There's an industrial strength kitchen in the back of a semi that's there, right? In which everybody gets one meal a day. And because there are many people, and actually it's the most vulnerable people in the community, are not able to get into on a container home. It's the Syrian refugees or the Romani people. Is through this industrial strength kitchen in the back of the semi, they are bringing one meal a day down into this village where the container home is being built to people that are not able to get into a container home. So at least they are getting food each day. But I had the pleasure of meeting the Halal family. Erkin and Seda, husband and wife with 2 kids, 5 years old and about 20 months. We got to see the tent they were living in, a 10 by 10. Water is leaking. But then we had the pleasure of showing them the container home they're going to move into. Oh my gosh. The container home that you are providing. that is not just going to be around for 6 months, but literally is designed to be around for 6 years. That has plumbing, that has electricity, that has a shower, has a toilet, has a separate bedroom, comes with a bed, a wardrobe, a couch, an efficiency kitchen, right? A hot plate, a little stove, a sink. Be easy not to know about Turkey, then I don't have to deal with it. But ignorance is bliss, but it is not good. It is not right that there are people that do not have a home. They don't know where they're going to sleep at night. We are called to engage in that through our baptismal promises. You are not good because you do it. You are already good, and because you're good, we do these things. Does that make sense? We want to make sure we get that order right. And so we do the best we can, knowing we will not finish the work, but that does not give an excuse to avoid the work either, right? There's another gentleman I met there, Chagdis. We're partnering with another organization called Young Life, and they're working with kids. And Young Life, same name as a Christian organization here that works with high schoolers, but a different organization. This is a local Turkish organization with psychosocial skills. How do we help kids understand the emotions that are going on within them so they make better choices going forward? I don't know about you, but when I don't fully understand what's going on within me, I don't make always the best choices. Anybody else? So how do we help young people deal with the trauma that they're impacted by? And then the other thing that Young Life is doing as well is through our partnership with them, they have been able to build a shower facility just for women and girls, a safe space. Because many container cities don't have individual showers or bathrooms within the container themselves, but they instead have to use communal bathrooms. How many people don't like camping? Why don't you like? I don't mind it, but why don't many people like camping? Bathrooms, right? And that's generally if it's just for a weekend. You avoid it if you can. Maybe a week. Imagine you're faced with it for the next 5 years. You are providing a safe space for women and girls to bathe with water, to have a place of community. Chagdis is one of the directors for Young Life. We got to meet him there, and he was telling us his story, and he had said, when the earthquake first occurred, he's like, I so badly wanted to go and be in the midst of it and hand out water, hand out food, hand out blankets, hand out tents, right? You have that pull, you want to be in the midst of it. And his boss had said, Chagdis, we need you back here. Please don't go because you are good at logistics. And if we want to have water, tent, food to distribute, we need someone to help arrange all of that. He's like, so I stayed back. And he's like, it was really hard. But I had to keep reminding myself what was needed was me to do this. It was about what was needed, not about what I wanted. Anybody struggle with that sometimes? What I want isn't the same as what's needed? In our baptism, we are called to ask ourselves those tough questions. Where are we gifted? What does the world need? How do we engage in the world as people of faith to go back to what is the world like? What is it supposed to be? How do we help that restoration project? I'm here simply to say thank you. Thank you for engaging a broken world in your partnership with Lutheran World Relief, for living out your baptismal promises. Because it matters. It makes a difference. There are people that sleep better at night because of what you are doing. Thank you and thank God. Amen.